The 6-7 Minnesota Vikings are at home this week, taking on the 6-7 Chicago Bears. Both teams on the playoff ropes, so this is basically like a playoff game for both. Chicago coming in off a rare game where their offense made all the headlines.
And it's a foot race down the sideline to the house!
David Montgomery got things started with an 80-yard TD run, finishing with 70-plus rushing yards now in 4 of his last 5 games.
A burst of 11.
Not only did the Bears get things going on the ground last week, Mitch Trubisky had his best game of the year.
And he goes to the end zone, caught for a touchdown.
The catch here is all those shiny stats were put up against the Texans, whose defense is one of the worst in the league against both the run and the pass.
To the pylon, touchdown! Got it!
That kind of offensive prowess was nowhere to be found the last time these two teams faced off. The Vikings picking off Nick Foles twice back in Week 10.
Tipped, juggled, and intercepted!
And holding the Bears' ground game to less than 40 yards.
More the same!
But Montgomery didn't play in that game, Foles isn't starting, and the Vikings' pass defense isn't coming in off a strong showing and hasn't really played the pass well all year.
Brady all day! Touchdown!
Minnesota gave up a couple TD passes to Tom Brady last week, a rating over 120.
Not the way that Minnesota wanted to come out and start this second half.
But rewinding for a few other notes from their round 1 contest, the Bears went out of their way to stop Dalvin Cook and did so, holding him to 96 yards on 30 carries.
That's how you slow down the run game.
The Vikings, though, are used to teams hyper-focusing on 33, and when Chicago did, it turned into a big night for Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, who went for 135 yards against the Bears.
There's Jefferson. So much fun to watch.
Expect the Vikings offense to continue flowing through Cook, though. He may have just put up his best game of the year. He went over 100 yards, which is incredibly impressive, being he did it against the #1 rush defense in the NFL.
Bounces off a tackle.
Chicago, though, has gotten better against ball carriers recently. Their yards per carry allowed is down near the 4 mark.
Stuck right there by Mack, who tears the ball away.
And their pass rush also has been showing some signs of life. Last week coming up with 7 sacks against the Texans.
Yeah, they got him, and it's Mack with a safety.
Okay, lots of teams do have big sack games against Deshaun Watson, but Minnesota's pass protection hasn't been great lately either. 6 sacks taken against the Bucs, and that's 10 in their last 2 games now.
Yeah, he's fortunate that didn't get knocked out.
When he was upright, Cousins did enough to put up a passer rating over 90, but it was a meh performance otherwise.
Cousins throws, sideline, pass knocked away.
And that's how you could describe the Bears' defense when Watson was upright too. They didn't pick him off, allowed a rating over 100, their season numbers against the pass slipping over the last month or so.
Watson to the end zone, touchdown.
And finally, there's the Vikings special teams woes. Dan Bailey last week missing 3 field goals and an extra point.
Here is an extra point that is yanked.
It's not technically a win or go home game, but the loser will be a step closer to being able to play a little motley crew in their clubhouse. So which club is it going to be? Get the comments section cooking with your predictions. We'll heat up ours and then throw them on the screen for you. I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
Alabama, coach these Bucs. Cousins hangs in, fires, pass caught, touchdown. Demetrius Harris up top left, and they got the touchdown. That's caught by Robinson.